Well, first of all, my name's Claire and I'm an alcoholic. I sort of found all about addiction and alcoholism once I started to recover, not while I was in it. And I think that's the case for most people, because while you're in it, it's only when you hit your rock bottom right at the end do you really truly accept the fact that you might be one. It's only when you hit a rock bottom that you sort of crawl into recovery, and that's when you learn about it and it all starts to make sense. But for years you think you're the only one that thinks like that or feels like that. And the thing about addiction or alcoholism or any sort of addiction like that is people automatically think it's the substance or the activity. It's like the problem's alcohol, or the problem's heroin or cocaine or gambling or even sex or shopping. And it's not. All those things are symptoms of addiction. They're just symptoms. Is that the mind part of it I was predisposed to from a very young age, and it's basically like a constant desire to change the way I feel, and it can manifest itself in all sorts of ways. But you know, when I discovered drink, of course that was like the quick fix solution to change the way I felt, because from a very young age I always felt very anxious. And when I started drinking, I suppose it was normal, because I was I was younger than like my daughter now. So the people I was going around with, they all drank, and that's normal. So there was no alarm bells, or all I knew was that it worked. And I didn't even know that I was looking for something either. All I knew was I was pretty excited to go out at the weekends, not for the socialising, because I could change the way I felt. I've got an addictive personality, so that changing the way I feel, becoming somebody else, was what I was first addicted to, not the alcohol. It was that feeling of like it settles, your head calms down. It's described as a washing machine head. And then whatever your drug or drink of choice is, or activity is, it slows the washing machine down, and it's like It's like mentally, people don't know they've got a problem because they've never known anything different. That feeling of uncomfortableness is always there. It's when it's physical. When, you know, you're getting drunk to the point where there's massive consequences, because you feel uncomfortable all the time, and you're like, it's like when you sort of you're trying to go out there, you're bringing this really uncomfortable feeling with you wherever you go. It's like climbing the walls, and then suddenly it's like, well, it wasn't that bad. Drinking wasn't that bad. I'll just have one, I'll stop it, because people don't understand, and you'll tell yourself you're all right again, and then once you pick it up, you're off. Hence, people relapse all the time. All things now I look back at, like I lost sleep over what am I going to do at Christmas? It's like, what am I going to tell people when they ask me like, why aren't you drinking? I lost sleep over that. Well, maybe you might enjoy Christmas for once. It's tough for some people at the beginning because there's a lot of guilt and shame, but now, you know, I'm in the middle of studying. I'm studying to become a counsellor, and that's what I want to go into, addiction therapy. Because in recovery, there's only one thing. If you choose not to do that, you can do anything you want. And in fact, a lot of people do. It's like at the moment I'm training for my 3rd marathon, like 1 year, and I love it because it's something to be obsessed about. I'm obsessed with running. I've done so much work on the mental side of the illness that it's like that allergy, it's like I'm immune to it. You know, I don't pick it up, but I don't want to pick it up. I have a choice. And it's not like, I don't hate alcohol. I can see why people, I think my husband's really funny when he's had a drink. You know, he amuses me. He's, you know, I don't hate it because I've worked on that mental side. To get through being an alcoholic is to embrace the fact that I'm an alcoholic. It's not going to go away, ever. Once you're an alcoholic or an addict, you always are. But I can choose, there's no cure, but there's a solution. And the solution, the easy part of the solution is putting it down. Put the drink down. People get locked up in a rehab. There are ways of getting it out of your system, you know, easily. Done. The hardest part is to stop the brain from making you pick it up again. And that's where recovery comes in. And that is massive. You know, people think it's just, you know, just don't drink. It's not, it's massive. The problem lies is not picking it up again. And that's when it's the mental side. That's when it comes down to life in general. Because an addict, especially once you've started using a substance to fix yourself, it's very hard not to grab that quick fix. You need to change completely. And I can honestly say that the person sitting here is a completely different person than 10 years ago. Recovery is about finding what they call serenity, which is like just an acceptance. And it's learning about how not to pick up those resentments, not to people please, and it's tough, it's really hard work to start with. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, that's without saying. Completely hardest thing I've ever done and probably ever will do is recover from addiction. But it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done, and not just for me, for everyone around me. It spreads out. People are still amazed that after 10 years I still go to meetings. You know, God willing, I'll be going to meetings the day before I die, because that what means I'm in recovery. Because the worst thing you can do for your recovery is stop going to meetings, because you'll never get it. And I think that's what I try to explain to people. People come to me and say, I want what you've got, and I'm like, I haven't got anything, I do something. And I think that's what recovery is. It's not something you get, you do it. And every day I wake up I have to do recovery. It's never going to end. But that's a good thing, because that means I can keep improving myself as a person. It is a progressive illness. It is. It will get worse unless you do something about it. But then I'll also say there is a solution. There is, without a doubt, a solution that works. But you have to want it, you know, and if they want it, I'm always happy to help them go through it. It's about changing, and only you can do that. Only you can change your whole essence. No one can do that, no doctor, no psychiatrist, no medication, no rehabs, no one can do that, only you.